I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I'm the head coach for JobSearchCoachingHQ.com, and welcome. Stupid resume mistakes. God, I'm sorry we have to do this, but people still forward resumes to me, even though I do almost exclusively coaching. And I'm stunned at how bad they are. So let me start off by talking about a few of the basic mistakes that so many job hunters make that are so painful to read. Let me just get into it, okay? First of all, your resume makes no case for your candidacy. There is nothing in the resume that demonstrates that you fit the requirements of the job. Why do you think you'd get an interview unless you've made that case? Number two is you actually applied for a job instead of trying to network your way into an organization. There are lots of tools out there that will help you identify hiring managers so you don't have to go through the applicant tracking system. Okay, number three, when your resume is submitted, you haven't tailored it. So if you do have the skills, you haven't really done a good enough job to highlight how your background matches up with the employer. Next, people still submit cover letters. Now, if you really want to be clever, what you do is make your cover letter page one of your resume. And you use a format that's nicknamed a T-square. I developed it years ago, and other people picked up on it. And it's the notion that in one column, left column, you put the requirement of the position. You'd create a list. And number two is for how long and how recently have you done that functionality? Have you used that particular skill? And you make that page one of your resume. Why do you make it page one? Because the applicant tracking system will read all the keywords on page one, treat it as being early in the document, and advantage you in the submission. Number five is you take a lot of time to apply. Well, some firms, some organizations stop really paying attention to resume submissions if they happen too far after the ad went up. Why do they do that? Real simple. They're getting hundreds of resumes. Do you expect they're going to sit there and read all of them before then deciding who to interview? No, they don't do that. They start taking action immediately, and eventually they stop paying attention altogether because they have people in play. So their job is to fill the job, and they want to do it as quickly as possible. They don't want to interview forever. There are tools that will help you with applying quickly, but they won't tailor your resume, which makes them less than ideal. Resumes need to be tailored quickly. Oh yeah, this is really more about cover letters. And I mentioned an ideal way that if you were applying, how to use a cover letter as page one of your resume, but people send out attachments of a cover letter, and no one really opens those attachments. Another thing that they do is they make the font of the resume much too small for a reader. Look at my face. Do I look like I'm 24? Well, most people who are in HR are not 24. Some of them are, and there's a good number of them are, but eventually they get more experienced. And for those of you who are veteran individuals who are trying to cram more details into your resume and making the font smaller and smaller, the human being who's going to look at the resume eventually, and the system may have trouble with that. So at least keep it to 10 point, preferably 11 or 12. Another thing that people do mistakenly is embed their address as a header at the top of the resume. Some systems have trouble with that. So don't embed a header. Do the same thing, but don't embed it. No one cares about it being page 2 of 2 because we're not reading pages, we're reading screens, right? People read screens. They're not printing out a resume to know that this is the second page. If anything, they just really care about the first page to page and a quarter, which is 2 page downs. That's as far as people read. You don't have to number the pages. Oh, yes, one huge thing that people don't do. I understand why addresses are put there. Identity theft is an issue. But you put city, state, and zip code on your resume. Why? Because when the system parses it, it knows where you are located. Some of the systems will screen out resumes that don't include zip code. Why do they do that? Because they don't know where you live. Let's say you're trying to fill a position in Savannah, Georgia, and you get a resume with a phone number that's anywhere in the country and no location. How do you know that this, and you're not willing to pay for relocation, how do you know that this person is local? You're not telling them. So put city, state, and zip code. And if you think you're going to fool people by not including it, they're just going to screen you out. The systems are going to do that for them. So those are a few of the stupid resume mistakes I see. If there are more, add them in as a comment. It'll help other people. Hope you have a great day. Take care.